our house, you'll all know because my screen will go black. So that's kind of morbid, isn't it? So you guys, this is me, I'm quirky. I am really, really excited to be able to join with these ladies and do this call with you guys because I don't even know how it happened. We all just had this feeling that we all needed to come together and have a call on vision. For whatever reason, different seasons of our business, I've been a coach for 8 years, and I know that Brigitte and Lori and Ashley are, kind of maybe right there or right behind me. So I'm kind of feeling like an old fart in the business. But we all have things we can share. But every season of our business allows us to have a different vision. And if we don't take the time to focus on that, we're just running around like chickens with our heads cut off, right? We don't have any direction. Maybe we have goals, but if our goals and our vision aren't intertwined, that we are literally just spinning our wheels. We heard an awesome speaker at Leadership named Dan Thurman, and he had the analogy, and some of you guys may have seen the video. Can you hear the thunder? Some of you guys, both my husband and my son were like, let's go outside, like real geniuses. So he made the analogy of being on a unicycle, and when you lean forward towards your goals and towards your vision, you're going to go forward. But you can be moving your feet and look like you're going somewhere, and you're going nowhere. And I think that has been me, to be just really transparent. I lost the vision. I thought I'd done it all, and I was being selfish if I put it out there to want more. But I think that was really short-sighted, because as we talked about on our call last night, we got together with a bunch of superstars, and it was amazing. I mean, it was so good to come together and share vision and goals and what that looks like. And to be able to say, it's okay to share your vision. You're going to be able to align with the people who want to come alongside you. And if you don't share that vision, then nobody's going to know what you're about. They're not going to know you. They're not going to know your big dreams and your big goals. And you're also not going to have anywhere to go. And so tonight, we're going to go through a couple of exercises. I wrote some notes last night to help you guys, not just with goals, but with having a vision for your business, for what you want to do outside of your business, for your life, for your family, for your hobbies, for the long term. And you guys, you're not going to get it the first time, and that's okay. Sometimes we set short-term goals and have short-term vision. I know I did when I started as a coach. I couldn't see the big picture. I didn't know how. And so a goal for me was small, and I hit it really quick. And then you have to have new goals and new goals and new goals and bigger vision and bigger vision. Because you guys, with this business, we really can have huge vision. But our goals have to mix with that, because those goals that we set for ourselves have to help us get to that big vision. So all of the ladies here, Brigitte and Lori and Ashley, are going to each share with you guys a little bit more about vision. Maybe do some exercises, go through some questions. And these are great questions for you guys to write down. Maybe you printed out some of the sheets we shared. If you didn't, no big deal. So we are going to not take up a ton of your time, but this is super important, not just as we finish 2019, but as we look to our future in 2020. Isn't that funny? I'm going to have 2020 vision in 2020. I'm going to see clearly. I just think that's funny. Okay, so I don't remember who's next, but I hope that I have set the tone for you guys to be prepared to dream big, dig deep, and really think about this concept of having goals for yourself, for your family, for your life, for your future, and a big vision that those goals help you get to. Sorry for no light.
I will take it over. And that is, Lauren, that is so awesome. So if you guys don't know who I am, my name is Lori Stewart. And like Lauren said, I've been around for a while. I've been a coach now for 7.5 years. And this month is actually like my official coaching when I really started to work the business. So my vision and my goals have also changed throughout the years. And it's one of those things where we get to a point and then you're like, what's next? So did anybody print off the guides? So I think everybody should have shared that. So if you have not, there should be in each of your team pages. I think all the leaders had shared that. If you don't have it, it's fine. Get out a pen and paper. If you don't have a pen and paper, get your phone out and get on your notepad. I will say in doing this, I really, really suggest to get a pen and paper. There is power in actually writing down. It's like an emotional connection that you're going to get to this, and it's going to be really hard. And I will say, even for me, when I first started to do this, I struggled and I would cry because I would feel unworthy. I would feel that I didn't deserve some of these things. I would feel that it was too far out of reach. And I still look at my life today and think, this isn't even what I imagined. Like, I didn't shoot this high. So do not allow yourself to dream small, to think small, because this is your vision and anything is possible. And we've seen in this business that anything can be possible. So the first thing that we're going to figure out is really just getting you guys through some basic steps. And like we said, we're not going to take too much time. We're going to give you time to answer this, but we want to respect your time with your family. So first thing is you have to be extremely kind of detailed. I want to give an example, and I was thinking about this earlier. Do you know, like, when you start dating someone and all you start to think about is like life with them? You start to think about going on dates and what you're going to wear, and going, you know, when you get married and what kind of house you're going to get, and then having kids. And if I'm pretty sure that 99% of women think that way. You start to get excited and start to dream. But when we dream about our lives, we think a little bit differently. But as we're thinking about this vision and our goals, you have to get as detailed as you would when you're creating these scenarios in your head, like when you start dating someone. So the first thing on this is where it says, what is your vision? And so this is where we want you to take time to set the expectations of your life and your brand. Like, what is your vision? What are the things that you want to see yourself in the future? It could be, for me, when I started this, it was, I want to be able to just pay the extra credit card bills. But then I started to realize that's not enough. That's a goal. I could do that as a goal, because goals are those, smart, measurable, attainable, reachable. You can do it in a time period, but a vision is an ultimate dream beyond that. It is something that's far, far out from your norm. That's kind of uncomfortable. It's something that you can actually get to. So we want you to start writing those dreams and those visions out for where you see your life, where you see your business. Oh, screen share, that would totally help. Let me do that.
I was just going to say, let's
for your life.
So they can see it. For all the visual people, I'm like, hold on, I can't even follow because I need the visual.
And I'm sitting here looking at it. I'm visual, that's why. Let me share the screen. Okay.
Can you share it? I don't know I think I can too, if you can.
So this is a document from Elizabeth Hartley, and she kind of walked through us with this last night, and it was just amazing. So we wanted to be able to use this back for you guys. And so here's the first part is, again, what is your vision? This is where you want to set the expectations for your life and your brand, and you want to start to write out those things that you're seeing below, the goals and the dreams. But while you're writing this, it might be kind of vague. You might put things just as simple as, being able to contribute to your family and your income, or, being able to stay home with your kids. But that's basic. We want you to think beyond that. We want you to think bigger than that, and more specifically, like, detailed, because while we are here as a business, and while we want to talk about the products that we have and branding, but you have to get real about, why do you want this? Because this business is hard, and we can say this, all the leaders can say this at the same time. Okay, it's not hard, but we work hard. And there's going to be days that it's not convenient, that it's not fun, that you're not going to want to wake up and do it, that you're going to have kids crying, screaming in the back, you're going to have life things go on. But when you have this clear, defined vision of why you're doing this, those things won't matter. You will still show up in the hardest times because your vision is so clear. And so this is going to be the most important thing for you, is to picture your ideal day. Take a piece out of that vision that you have and ask yourself specific questions. You know, if when we were going for top 10, the first year that I was there, my corporate mentor said, you need to visualize yourself there. And the trip that year was to Paris. And honestly, that was never even in my vision, not even a slightest bit. But as it was there, I'm like, okay, but he specifically said, you need to think. You need to pretend, think about where you're eating at. What are you wearing? What's the food that you're going to have on the table? What are you going to be drinking? Can you smell what's around you? You have to be so specific so that you can see yourself, you can feel yourself, you can hear what's going on. And if yours is to be a stay-at-home mom, what are those things that you're going to do? So what do? How do you feel in those moments when you wake up and you don't have to rush off to make breakfast, yell at your kids to get out the door? I mean, it's still going to happen, but it's in a whole different way than when you're trying to get to a job and somewhere that you have to clock in. What do you see around you and in your life? Like, what do you hear? Do you wake up and you're excited to hear the little giggles and footsteps running down the hallway because you didn't have to wake the kids up that day? Who are you going to serve? How are you going to spend your free time? Like, do you know what your hobbies are? Because when I started this business, I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I liked. I didn't really know much of anything because all I knew is that I was a mom and I had to work and I had to take care of everything. I didn't know how to have visions, and I had to really figure this piece out. You can be so specific of your ideal days and say, well, how much time do I take off? Like, are you someone that loves to watch The Bachelorette and you want to, have your shows, or you want to have a good book and just sit down and drink your coffee? Visualize that specifically. And what is that? What about how much do you earn? This is a tough one because for me, I felt guilty wanting to create such a high income. I felt guilty because I thought, does that make me feel greedy? But I thought, no, like that makes me want to work harder. That makes me want to be able to affect more people, to impact more people. That makes me want to be able to create more of a freedom for my kids so that I never had to say no anytime we went somewhere because I just couldn't afford it, even though I really wanted to get it for them. So think of something that says, how much do I earn? And you guys think high because you have no idea the potential, the amount that you can affect in this opportunity, in this business that's being handed to you. It is literally mind-blowing what you could do with this. And then think to yourself, how many hours a day do I work? Are you one of the ones that just wants to work a couple hours a day to wake up, to spend time with your family? You want to read, you want to, PTA mom, soccer mom, like be so specific about this. I am not a stay-home mom material. I enjoy working, and I am okay saying that. I love to get my kids up. I love to take her to school. I love to volunteer when it's time to go meet for lunches. But to be a stay-home mom, I look at Ashley someday and I'm like, that girl has got it together. Like, I don't know how to do that. That's not my personality. I enjoy working. I enjoy being in business. And I give my hats off to, the true stay-home moms that really are just organizing and with their kids all day. But that's in my life. I want to set my business hours, and so I'm able to do that. And I do that because I have visualized it. So you should have been able to go through some of those and get those. You have this so that you could come back and fill these out later. And again, continue to picture your ideal day and to ask yourself, okay, so what is my health routine? What is my morning routine? Where do I work? So I still have a vision for my life that I'm going to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to do my workouts. I'm going to do my personal development. I want to be able to sit down and hold a cup of coffee and just kind of do the quiet things before the house wakes up. I've yet to get there, but it's still on my vision board and I'm still working for it because I know that at some point it's going to work for me and my schedule, we're just not there yet. Think about, how do you spend your weekend? I remember when I worked a full-time job and a second part-time job, and I had 3, and they were in sports, weekends were like the worst because it was fitting all those things that you don't get done during the week into that small time. So how are your weekends going to be spent? Are you thinking about, just family time and going to do all those fun pumpkin patch and Christmas lights? And, is that your kind of thing? Do you want to be spending your time out in the yard and playing? Get very specific on how you want to spend your weekends. Maybe you're someone that wants to go meet friends for drinks and hang out at the patio, or you just want to lay on your couch and do absolutely nothing. Be specific. And then just think, how much time do you want to spend on work activities that bring you pleasure? That could just be, that creative side in you, always having something second, going on. All right. So you get the point. You want to be like there, you want to create like a movie in your head of what this life is going to be like for you. And then it's going to come down to what is important to you and what are your values. So the sheet says, this is something that so few people understand the gravity of, and then they wonder why 30 years have passed and they aren't happy in the life that they're living. So you need to list your values below. And if you say family, it's finances, my faith, all of those things, I don't know if everyone agrees. I'm just going to give you my opinion. My family was one of my most important pieces of this. And so when I began this business and I was working 12, 14-hour days, barely sleeping, not going out on social events, they were like, this business is taking your life. It was. But I had a very clear vision. I wasn't worried about, balance, because I knew that what I was doing at that moment was for something bigger than what other people could see. They couldn't see my vision. It wasn't for them to see. So for me, I was willing to work like most won't for a life now like others can't, because I had that vision and I did everything that would only align with what my vision was holding, with what my goals were. So you have to think, what is important to me? Because while yes, I did miss out on a couple things when my daughter, like I would send her off to daycare and I don't know, my older kids, but I think, well, I never went to a single volunteer function for my older two. They didn't, the teachers thought my mom was their mom. Like I never went and had school lunches. I never got to pick them up from school. I never participated in anything. So for me, that small amount of time that I spent hustling was worth every bit of freedom that I have with them now, because you're creating a life. You're not creating a time, you're creating a life for the future. So you have to be specific on yours. I'm just trying to give you examples of mine and how that's changed to get to this point. So you don't want to look back 30 years from now and think, man, if I had just worked a little bit harder, what would have happened? What if I wouldn't have let life come in my way? What if I would have known that this was my vision back then? Would I have worked a little bit harder to accomplish that? And then let's start to talk about, what do I want to create, monetize, and sell? So you're not just going to look at what the rest of the world is doing and making your decision based on what's happening in their lane. You need to be focusing on what it is you want. What do you want to create? And I know that Beachbody has been an amazing opportunity, but I do believe that this was just something to prepare me for what's next. I know that I would never have been someone that would have talked, made a video, spoken face to face with anyone. So when I see this, to me it is, what is it that I want to do? I have something bigger beyond Beachbody. For most people don't know, y'all don't know my story, but when I was 15 years old, I had a baby and I was forced to give him up for adoption. And so now my heart is with trying to connect back with those moms, those young girls who are trying to go through their life, and to speak to them and to give encouragement to them. So when I read this, to me, that says, what do I want to create, monetize, and sell? I want to create a hope for someone else, to let them see the success that we have created through this opportunity. I want to be able to give back. And I know that because of this vision that I initially had made, it's allowing me to do something bigger. Now, I think my daughter had came in when we were doing the story last night on the call discussing this. So that may not have been the exact thing that they talked about but when I went back to go reread through this, I was like, that's how it spoke to me, is that this is, the platform that has opened the doors to create something else for your future. All right, so let's move on to the next. Yeah, so Lauren said the monetizing one is, do you have a passion? Do you have hobbies? Do you have something else that you want to do outside of Beachbody? Do you want to create a nonprofit? It's finding what those other things are, because again, you are not Beachbody. This is just something that you do. This is something that you love. This is something that you enjoy, something that you're able to help other people, but there's still way more to you than just this business. Now, what is your level of necessity? And have you asked yourself lately where you stand on making this dream or vision come to life? chances are, if you're winging it or through the motions, the necessity isn't really there, or you haven't captured that necessity. If you really want to get into a zone of scaling up your life, to see where your vision will manifest into something real that is putting dollars into your bank account, it's time to get serious about mapping things out to get there. And this is what we talked about at the beginning. The days that it's hard, and maybe you have an amazing job and you don't ever plan on quitting, but you're here because you want to help people. That's great. We love that you want to help people. But why? Why do you want to help people? Okay, well, maybe, your grandmother passed away from heart disease and you want to help because of that. You really have to start digging deep as to that, because the days that you don't feel it, this vision and this level of necessity will come out to say, no, you're going to show up even though it's hard. You're going to show people that they can do this even when it's hard. So you have to begin to ask yourself, on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad do you really want this? When you have no other choice and failure is not an option, this tends to be pretty easy. But when this is an option, when this is a choice, when this is your plan B, you have to get serious and ask yourself, how serious am I about this? So on a scale of 1 to 10, do you want to bring your mission to life? How bad do you want to get paid well for what you do? How bad do you want to escape your day job? How bad do you want to live with purpose? How bad do you want to make an impact? How bad do you want to create that dream life that when you wake up every day, you're dreading going to work? If you're not doing something to change it, you're choosing the life that you have now. So you have to make a decision. How bad do you really want to get out of that? And how much do you want to work towards making that happen? So this says, if you aren't a 7 or above, either you're stuck in mediocrity and you've gotten comfortable, or maybe your day job pays you so well that your back isn't against the wall to make this the next big thing. So here's the deal. There's something you're being called to do in your life in this current setting of personal branding being king. And again, this document is designed not just for Beachbody coaches, but for just everyone. But there's no reason why you should not be fully entrenched in building the life that you're born for. Cast your vision, lay out the steps, identify what makes you tick, and create a brand and a business that becomes the vehicle to get you there. So you can't expect it to magically happen. You're not going to go get in your car and go drive off to some 2-hour event. You don't know where you're going, and not pull Google up and ask it to give you the directions. It tells you exactly where to go, exactly what turns you need to make so that you can get from A to B. But without starting to create that vision and setting those goals in order to get there, you will never get there. So I know we kind of went through this really quickly, and I hope that was helpful. And we're gonna, I know some of Brigitte was gonna give some examples of kind of like her steps and what worked for her. Oh,
You're muted, girl.
hold on.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for going through that, Lori. All of my coaches, I was anticipating that you would be answering these questions on this call, so I didn't give you your sheets beforehand, but I did post them in our team page, just for my coaches who might be a little lost. So you can print them off and kind of go through them. I'm just going to kind of share a few thoughts that I had going through this exercise. I'm really excited for you guys to go through it and to take a moment to answer these and really think them through. One thing that I really struggled with just right off the bat, I'll be honest, is the very first question of what is your vision? Because I'm like, well, if I knew my vision, I wouldn't be working on this worksheet altogether. I did post a few questions that, I'll be honest, I found from an article when I typed into Google, how do I figure out what my vision is? Because I'm like, I don't even know what my vision is. Let me copy them really quick again, just over here into the chat aspect of things. Because when I went to do this and I just started writing down the answers to some of these questions, it just got my mind rolling, and I started writing down things that I do like and things that I enjoy with work. And then it just came to me, and I was able to identify what my vision is for work. Now, there was a question in the chat of, is this the vision for work or a vision for your life? I mean, it is for work initially, but it is also, the vision for your whole life. So I kind of, you can see I just, my hand, once it opened up, I just couldn't stop writing. And it was really like the vision for work, but then on the back was like the vision for my family, and then the vision for my life overall. And the life overall, in my mind, didn't intend it to be this way, but I essentially was like, how do I want to be remembered? At the very end of my life, how do I want to look back over my life and feel that was the overarching theme, that my family knows I love them above all else, that I have deep, close relationships, and many will say because of me, their life was better. That my family will be overwhelmed in gratitude for the legacy and wealth that I leave them. So that's part of the vision for my life overall. I also wanted to share something else I learned from Google that really helped me identify the difference in the vision versus goals. And they pointed out how the vision is enduring and is providing clarity for the next step, and a goal always ends. So like when you're like, oh, I have this big vision for my life, and it's for my husband to be retired, and you're thinking this through, and you can still create that in your mind, and you can see it in a vision, that is a goal. That is not a vision for your life, because it will be accomplished and then it ends. And I think that's a really key difference, because the goal was an end unto itself, but a vision is overarching and it is enduring for always. Like it never ends. And so when you are listing out your vision, I want you to keep that in mind. I think a really good example that was shared was that a vision is an example that would be Martin Luther King's speech. I have a dream, and he's speaking of like this way that people will feel in society and how people will be treated, and just the equality and the vision that he has, versus a goal being like Kennedy's speech of putting a man on the moon, right? And like, obviously that one's going to end and it will be done. But the other one is serving as a beacon, of what could be. So I think as you write down your vision, creating that first, that overarching vision of what you want to do in this avenue of work, like what are you wanting to create, doing that first, and then you back into it with the goals that will get you there along the way. So just to wrap up, I'm going to just be vulnerable and share with you what my vision is that I wrote down for my career. I said, I want to create a space where women dream big, where women see themselves for who they truly are and let go of their limiting beliefs. I want to create a space where women find community, friendship, connection, and support, where we encourage and trust one another, where we heal and amaze ourselves with what is truly capable in our own lives, where women make ridiculous amounts of money and create a legacy in their family and provide options for their family. I want to be a beacon of light, proving transformation is real, possible, and tangible. So that is what I see this career providing for me and for others, a space where that is possible. And I will tell you that the goals along the way to get that to happen are things like double 15 star, because you better believe that there's going to be at least 15 women that I show, at least 15 more women that I show how to create ridiculous amounts of money and have freedom and options and see what they're truly capable of. There better be like 100 more people that I help. I better be like quadruple 15 star in all of the CBCs, like 25 CBCs, 15 star. That is like not enough, because that's not enough women who deserve to see what they're truly capable of. And I'm just going to put this out there. I need more women earning six figures, because they are under earning, and it irks me so freaking much. So I need more women on my team who are earning more money because you deserve it. And I will tell you, last thing, this is like another big overarching goal that fits into that vision. I know someone, one of my parents' friends, who earns $1 million a month, and they're not a celebrity. They're not like in movies or doing all these other things. And I just think that's like ridiculously awesome. I just have always thought, like, are you kidding me? Like, what would that be like? $1 million a month. So I'm going to earn $1 million a month just because I think that's cool. And because I know somebody is, so why not me? I'm going to make $1 million a month, which means I'm going to have a whole lot of women who are earning ridiculous amounts of money in whatever avenues. So those are goals that fit into the vision that I have for this. And I'm excited to hear what your visions are and what your goals are as you do this. And we'll turn the time over to Ashley.
Well, dang, that was like great. We should just boom, go out with that. No, I'm just kidding. That was awesome. Okay, so I'm just gonna wrap it up real fast. Nothing like groundbreaking to share with you guys, but one thing that when we were all, like we all have said, we all had this great talk. We talked for what, almost like 2 hours last night, I think. I don't even know. It was like forever, a bunch of us superstars. And it was so life-giving. Like if you don't have people and community to just talk to and share goals and just spit back and forth and say, I don't have a vision. Like I have no idea what the heck I'm doing right now. It is it's so freeing to do that. So I really want to encourage you guys to, whether it's with your coach, whether it's one of us, with your success partner, whoever, to just sit down and really go through this with them and just be open, be vulnerable. My husband and I went to bed at like 1 o'clock last night because I was so fired up, and we just started talking about like our lives and our vision and our, what we dream together and separate and what it looks like for him and for me. And it's just so freeing to do that. And it's really hard. Like, it's really hard for me to like cast a big vision and to like think, really big. And I sat down with him last night after I got that call and I said, I think this is my problem. Like, I have a really hard time just thinking big and thinking like outside of like right now. Like, I'm tunnel vision. I sit down and I do the things that I'm going to do. And that's what's made me successful. Do the shiz, but it's really hard for me to think big. So this has been an incredible exercise for me, and I hope that it has been for you. And so one thing that we really want to encourage you guys to do is to, okay, awesome, you've gone through these questions, great, now do it again. And do it again after that, and maybe like one more time, because what happens so often is that whatever you wrote down on this paper right now is probably full of still a lot of limits, a lot of blocks that you had up, a lot of walls, a lot of still not allowing yourself to dream as big as you really deep down want to dream. And I know that's the case for me. So I plan to do this again. This will be my 3rd time doing it, seeing kind of what I can come up with, because I know that I'm not dreaming big enough. And it was funny because last night Liz, who created this awesome PDF for us, she was sharing, she had her husband do it. And she was like, answering the question about what is your ideal day? And he literally wrote down like, my ideal day is having time on the week, or like, what's your ideal weekend? He was like, having time to do stuff around the house. And she was like, really? Like, that's your ideal day? Like paying the bills and like doing things like that? Like, that's your ideal day? And she was like, oh my gosh, we have to do this again. So she made him do it again and again and again. And obviously you can imagine that his dream of an ideal weekend changed drastically from, I want to be able to pay the bills and like mow the lawn, right? So we really want to encourage you guys to do that, to do this again. Don't let this be the only time you look at it. Like we said, we went through it pretty quickly with you just to kind of breeze through. Otherwise we'd be here for probably an hour and a half, but take some time to do it with your team maybe. And one other thing that I want to say is that this kind of vision work and creating a vision and this overall just view of what you want out of your business, but out of just kind of life in general, is so important. We want for it to be so clear for you, because when we were talking last night, I was hit so hard by this, because it's so easy to, obviously, when you put down your vision, like how many of you guys put something down that had to do with like a rank or like something in your business, right? Like, I want to be a superstar diamond coach, or I want to make, 6 figures or things like that. But there are days where that is just not going to fuel you, right? The fun visions and things, there's are days where having that goal is just not going to make you want to wake up in the morning, right? It's just not, you're like, maybe not getting close enough to that goal or whatever it is. And it's going to be something that doesn't fuel you on some days. And so that's where you have to have so many other parts of your vision there. Like what do you look and feel like? What does your day look and feel like? What is your ideal day? What does your body look and feel like? What does your mind look and feel like? There's so many things that you need to think about so that on those days where it's not fun, where it's not easy, you're still going to show up because there's so many other things that you're working for. You're working on becoming something, right? Liz left us with that yesterday. She said for her, when she thinks about vision, she thinks about who she wants to become. And that kind of ties into that, like, what is the legacy that you want to leave? And to me, that spoke to me because I'm like, vision, goals, like that freaks me out. But having like, who do I want to become? Gosh, like that just like makes like all this stuff just like flow out of me. I'm like, well, there's all kinds of things I want to become. I want to become a really super attentive and patient mother. I know that there's things that I can do to accomplish that goal. I want to become a super, attentive and intentional wife. There's so many things that I could easily write down right now that are going to take me little tiny steps to being that vision. So there's so many things that tie into vision, and there's goals and there's all that kind of good, awesome stuff. But I really want to ask you that question of like, what and who do you want to become? Because to me, oh my gosh, that's like so easy to answer and to fulfill, to write down all of the little things that are going to take you into becoming that person, into that woman. Who do you want to become? And I don't know, some of you guys might be doing that last 90 days thing if you've been following like Rachel Hollis or anything, but I've been doing that every single day. So for the last 90 days, or it'll be 90 days when we finish, but writing out those I am statements and it's really speaking to that of who do I want to become? I am an exceptional mother. I am a confident CEO. I am, all the different I am statements. And so every day when I show up to work and I show up to work towards my little goals, I'm working to fulfill that greater purpose of who I want to become. I want to fulfill all those I am statements. So, just something to think about as you're casting your vision, because it's so easy to think about the fun goals, the things that have to do with the business, but this is bigger than that. We want for you to think bigger. What do you want out of your main life? What are the pain points in your day? What are the things that you hate doing every single day or that you hate that creep into your mind? Okay, start there. And now we're going to work backwards and take those out of your life. How can we take those away? What are the little things that you can start doing to make those not your pain points anymore so that you can create your ideal vision, your ideal life out of that? So that's kind of how I want to leave it. We want for you guys to not be afraid to dream big. Remember that when you started as a coach, most likely you were following somebody, whether it was me or Lori or Brigitte or Lauren or somebody else, your upline or somebody who you were just following on social media, right? And they were casting a vision. They were sharing what they were doing and why, that didn't turn you off, right? You joined to be a coach for a reason. So when you're doing this, and you're doing this because I'm going to trust that you're going to do this like 4 times, when you do this over and over again, don't put those limits on yourself. Like, don't think about what other people are thinking about you. If you say that this is your huge vision of who you want to become, be proud of that, own it. Don't worry about what other people think, and don't be afraid to dream big because you're afraid of what social media is going to say when you start casting this vision and you start casting this thing that people can join you to be a part of. That's just robbing yourself of the joy that's at the very end of accomplishing that vision. So, don't be afraid to dream big and think about when you started, think about what really inspired you and what brought you here in the first place. So I don't have any other thoughts. Do you guys have questions? Does anyone have questions about stuff? I don't even know where the chat is on here. I lost it, but does anybody have questions about, any of the steps or anything? We're happy to answer, help you out. Nothing. Crickets. All right, well then we'll end this thing. So you guys want to take a picture? I feel like we should take a picture. Does anybody want to do that? No one's talking to me, but I'm going to take a picture. So, okay. get your smiles on, peeps, and I'll post this to all of our thread, and then they can send it out. Okay, we're gonna do all 4 pages, all right? So here's the first page. Everybody smile. Cheese. All right, page 2. Take your videos off. Half y'all are still names. All right, 1, 2, 3. Okay, next page, page 3. Let's see. I see some more names popping up. Oh, there you guys are. Okay, page 3 and page 4. Ooh, all the names, all the namers. I'll give you 2 seconds to put your face on if you want to be in the picture. Okay, 1, 2, 3. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being on. We had so much fun. Like, you know, we're all kind of like geeking out getting to host this together because we're like, oh my gosh. Like when I joined, I'm like a baby coach compared to them because I've still only been coaching. It'll be 5 years next month. Like when I joined, Lori was top 10 and I don't know who else was top 10 with you. And I was like, oh my gosh, they're amazing. You know, these are all women that I looked up to. So it's super fun. And we hope that you guys enjoyed kind of this collaborative effort. And, you know, this company is so cool how it's all about community and all about helping each other. So we hope that this helped you a little bit. Bye, y'all. I don't know if I can end this. Brigitte, do you have to?
Yep, I'll hit it. And thank you guys all. Have a great night.
See y'all.